And again, I'm going to say to you, what do you think God going to say to you? What happened to the poverty? Did you see poverty? Did you see the little children in the ghetto suffering? But you want to go to heaven. What are you going to tell Christ? What are you going to tell God? When you enter into the gates, what are you going to say to Him? That you were waiting to come? And what do you think God going to say to you? Good job? No, God not going to say good job to you. Because you did not do a good job. Do a good job to see your brothers and sisters in the ghetto suffering and do something about it.
Let there be light.
That's right. You are listening to Visionary Talk Radio with Reverend Bagan Tewa D Lamb cries consciousness. What a beautiful, beautiful day today. That's right here on Visionary Talk Radio. You know, that is how we do it all the time, right? And we're always bringing you closer and closer to the creation. And that is what it's all about in the times that we are living. And some people run away within the churches and figure to themselves they don't have to do anything. God will take care of everything for themselves. Some people really do that. And some people know that the churches don't have the answers today, or some of the churches don't have the answer for resurrection and to move our people in the direction where we should go. Or rather, we sit there knowing the truth that they're not doing anything for you, but just rhetoric and just talk and talk and talk and talk, but cannot move your soul and don't know how to move your spirit to get up and how to inspire you, how to motivate you to be this better person. And when I say a better person, fighting for your rights, your equality, as I say, fighting to be a better person, that you have food on your table just for your children. Just imagine some people how to fight for that in the world today. You can go in some countries and they don't have proper water to drink. They don't have food on the table. And some places in the world, maybe if you live in the USA, you take it for granted. As being an African, you take it for granted. But when you go on the continent, there are still people who don't have. And sometimes we don't want to see the ones who don't have, because it makes us feel a little funny. It makes us feel a little strange. Our brothers and sisters are living in ghettos and shantytown. This is real. This is how it is for many of our people. Even in the Caribbean, you go into places and see our people don't have the proper meal to eat each day. We are still suffering in ghettos and shantytown. And we're wondering, and some of us pretending that these things don't exist. So we don't have to cope with it. We don't have to deal with it. We pretend each day. We just focus on ourselves and make the world pass us by. This is the truth I'm speaking. Without any regards for anyone. Whether you fall on the streets, whether you are looking for a place to sleep, some people just don't care. Because they themselves are afraid that they may end up in that situation also. And we don't want to admit to ourselves we don't have the answer. How can we rise from poverty in Soweto and Africa and those places? Let's get back to Christ consciousness and wake the minds of the people. And once the mind are waking up to reality, we no longer suffer in the ghettos and shantytown. It's just in your mind. If the unity is not in your mind, you will not have unity amongst your brother. If the unity is not in your mind first, it will not be amongst your sisters. That is our problem. We don't trust one another, but yet we want to build a kingdom. This is reality. How can you not trust one another and want to build a kingdom? But before we get even to the unity and power that God has given to us, we still today have to know our inner strength. Because if you don't know the inner strength within you, you'll be guessing. And a good soldier knows to himself, you cannot guess. Know to himself, he cannot guess. When you go into a battle, you got to know the truth. If you are ready to fight this war, And if I ask my people, are you ready to fight? They might say yes, just because they're living in poverty. This is real. So we must be ready for this war. And I know my people are not ready for a spiritual war. I know that by all the talk on the internet I can tell they are not ready for a spiritual war. I'm talking to my people in the ghettos and shantytown. I know you are not ready. Because the devil has replaced your culture and you don't even know that's a part of the war. When they can take away your culture, your language, your religion, your God, that's a spiritual war. Oh, that is the spiritual war. When they can take away your language, your culture, your religion, when you have no respect for one another, that is what you call a spiritual war. And the devil are beating you to the ground. When you turn against one another, you don't even know why you turn against one another. All you know, you just don't love the brother. All you know, you don't want to respect the sister, and you don't see the manipulation in that. It's what you call a spiritual war. It's going on now. The churches will say, wait for the rapture. The churches will say, wait until Christ comes. Then the war will begin. No, this is the war. When you live in ghettos and shantytown and cannot provide for your children, your generation to come, it's a spiritual war. When you cannot get a job to take care of yourself, it's a spiritual war. And the spiritual war is to take away your God, your religion, because it starts with culture. And once they can break your culture apart, then you have no foundation to hold on to. Yes, you have no foundation. If you have no God, you have no foundation. And it's a foundation what's going to put you in the order. That is what the devil understands, and what he knows, that, oh, he got to beat you. Take away your God, your religion. And a man without a God is a man without a foundation. They can manipulate you with that. They can play all the games they want to play on us as a people. And many times, we have to rise above it. Do you know lots of our people cannot see the spiritual war? They are saying, where is the war? Where is the war? Are you blind? Are you not looking in the ghettos and shantytown? Are you not seeing millions of people around the world have nothing to eat on the table? Is that not a war on our nation, our people? So when you keep asking, where is the war? Where is the war? That is what some people will say to you. And they figure to themselves, because they've been to the university, they can ask this question, where is the war? Where is the war? Then we must ask ourselves, what is this university teaching you? If you're looking around and you cannot see the ghetto, suffering in the ghettos and shantytown, then what is your university? What are they teaching you? If you cannot see for yourself, but you're so caught up in a world of your own, you're caught up in a world of your own and don't know right and wrong anymore, and it's right in your face. This reminds me of the Pharisees in the Bible. And the Pharisees in the Bible were saying that Christ, who is this man? Their God was right in their face, and they could not see their God standing in front of them. Christ was standing right in front of them, and they could not see the God right standing next to them. This is today. The God is right in front of you, and you cannot see your God because of your low expectation in life. You want everyone to be your leader. So some of us are still asking, where is the war? Where is the war? All you gotta do, brother, is to go and walk in the ghettos and shantytown. You'll see homeless mothers and fathers. You will see children without no mothers. You will see children without no fathers in the ghettos and shantytown. All you got to do to look on the table and you will see no food. That is a ghetto, that is a shantytown. And it's still saying, where is the war? Where is the war? Even though some of these same people are living in the ghettos and shantytown, they're still asking, where is the war? Where is the war? Because they are so blind, deaf and dumb, not seeing the poverty in front of them, don't have the wisdom to know what is right and wrong. Again, I'm going to say this remind me of the Pharisees in the Bible, that their God was right in front of them, and they know that God was standing in front of them. Even the disciples, when Christ was among the disciples, they did not know that that was a God. They keep asking, is it you? Is it you? So just imagine that Christ should return today. If our people are so far away from reality, just imagine that Christ is walking in the ghettos and shantytown and no one sees that Christ. Just imagine you are talking to Christ and you don't even know because your imagination is so far away from God. And if the disciple was so close to God and they did not know that that was the God, just imagine you. Just imagine you who are so far away from reality that you are standing in front of your God and don't know. What a shame and a disgrace, all because of expectation. That is our problem today. Our expectation to rise from the ghettos and shantytown, thinking to yourself, the oppressor is going to do something for you. This is the same thing like the Pharisees in the Bible. After the Romans oppressed them, they wanted the Romans to do something for them. Like I was saying to you yesterday, you keep looking outside of yourself for God. There is no God outside of yourself. And if you cannot see it within you, you just got to look some more. Don't be afraid to look. Keep looking and looking until you find that God somewhere within you. Because I guarantee you it's within you. God cannot be outside of you. If you get the love, there will be no darkness in you. Don't go sitting in the churches thinking you got this love. When you're waiting to die and go to heaven, that is not a love. That have no love within it. If you are just sitting in the churches and waiting to die, to go to heaven, there is no love within you. Dying and going to heaven, that don't mean you're going to go in that good place. Not because you're sitting and you're giving money to the churches. That is how many people get fooled. You think that heaven is guaranteed for you? No, it's not guaranteed for you. This is what a lot of us, we don't understand. You think because you have the money to give to the churches, you will go to heaven? You see, that is what you call a fantasy, a delusion. Not because the disciples know God, Christ, that they were going to go to heaven. Judas knew Christ, he didn't go to heaven. So you can go and sit in the churches, don't mean you're going to go to heaven and meet your God. Judas knew of this Christ. He knew he was talking to Christ. So what make you feel because you're sitting in the churches, you will die and go to your Father? You see, that is illusionable. But to know the God within you. So when I talk about consciousness, this is the consciousness I'm talking about. When I say be conscious, that is what I'm saying. I'm saying I know God, that's what I'm saying. And there's a lot of people who never did any wrong. They all sit aside and watch you too not going. Don't think you, because you never caused trouble, you just sit inside your house and you just was a good little girl or good little boy. It's more than you sitting in the churches and say you're going to heaven. And if you see the poverty around you and you're not doing anything about it, how can you go to this heaven? Or you expect God to know your face or to accept you in His kingdom when you never done anything about poverty in your face and you see it every day? Tell me, how can you expect to go to God in a kingdom when you dead and gone, and when you see the poverty right here, never did anything about it? But you sit in the churches and you waiting when you dead and gone to go to see the Father. You too is what you call hypocrites and liars. For there is no kingdom for you. And the ones who sit and watch and see the poverty, there is no kingdom, there is no God for you. Let us not fool ourselves. You sit aside and watch, there will be no kingdom for you. God can never be on your side. It's only when you take up the journey and say, yes, let me do something, I want to do something. I'm not going to see the suffering anymore. You don't want to see the suffering of your people in the ghettos and shantytown. That's a different mindset. What are you going to tell God? When you go to heaven, I'm taking your beliefs and saying it to you. When you go to God, what are you going to say to God? God, I sit to watch the poverty. That is what you're going to say to God? When all of Christ's kingdom was about poverty. To raise the consciousness. So when you sit in the churches thinking to yourself that you're going to be saved, oh no, it don't work that way. Did you not see the poverty? Are you not seeing the shantytowns and the ghettos, uneducated people? Look around in the ghettos and shantytown and tell me, what do you see? For you to be sitting in the churches and waiting, that is a disgrace upon you. And the ones who are sitting in the ghettos and shantytown and seeing that you can do something about it, you too are a disgrace. You are a disgrace to our people, and you'll always be a disgrace. Like I said, if you want to go to heaven in the kingdom of God, what are you going to be doing in the kingdom of God? They're sitting around to look upon God? Are the Chinese sitting and waiting? Are the Europeans sitting and waiting? Are the Japanese sitting and waiting? Tell me who are sitting and waiting that when they're dead and gone, they go to heaven? Don't make no sense. That you want someone else to do it for you. That is how it is. You want someone else to do it for you. Someone else to bring it for you. Wake up from the ghettos and shantytown. You are the power itself. Don't let them fool you anymore. That Christ is within you. That God consciousness is within you. That is what you must awake to. The fear that you got inside you when you see the wrong, to stand up and fight. The love will bring that fear. Even though you know you must die for what you believe in, but the love is so strong for what you believe, it will break that fear. Why will you go to Satan and talk to Satan and say, Satan, what do I do with the fear? Don't you think Satan will say to you, hey, that's you? Satan is going to tell you get rid of that fear. That he's the one that put that fear inside of you. That all your life that you've been seeing misery and ghetto lifestyle and the shiny tongue and the suffering and the pain that all people are living. But because you're afraid that when you're dead and gone, you don't know where you are going, it's the fear. But if you should know that when you're dead and gone, you know where you are going, you will have no fear for Satan. You will not fear the devil, but because you fear on the unknown, you are afraid that you don't know where you are going, and you are saying you know where you are going. I'm talking to some of the people in the churches. Because if you have no fear, you will not be afraid to stand up for the devil and say, no, Satan, no. You're not going to push us around in the ghettos and shantytown. I don't have to wait when I'm dead and gone to see the face of God. But we are not thinking that way. The fear gets some of us in the churches not wanting to take a stand. And some of them are so brave, they say to you, well, if Christ come and everything going to be all right, well, then I don't need to fight. That's a coward person. You're a coward. That is a coward saying that when I'm dead and gone to heaven, everything going to be all right. What about your brothers and sisters who left behind? You see, this is consciousness, this is righteousness I'm talking. And again, I'm going to say to you, what do you think God going to say to you? What happened to the poverty? Did you see poverty? Did you see the little children in the ghetto suffering? But you want to go to heaven. What are you going to tell Christ? What are you going to tell God? When you enter into the gates, what are you going to say to him? That you were waiting to come? And what do you think God going to say to you? Good job? No, God not going to say good job to you because you did not do a good job. Do a good job to see your brothers and sisters in the ghetto suffering and do something about it. That is what is a good thing. When you see your brothers and sisters in the ghettos with no education and suffering and you do something about it, that is a good man. But you cannot say you is a good man and want to go to heaven when you're dead. You will not enter into the gates. For this is the first gate you must enter into. The tribulation that sometimes God put us in to see our faith, our courage, but you are failing. You are failing the test. I can tell you that because God wants nothing to do with a weak person like you. What will God do with you in the kingdom? God cannot do anything with you. You are a waste of time. You are a waste of a human memory. That is what you are. To sit in the ghettos and watch your people suffering, and then you sit in the churches and say you're going to heaven. No, you are a waste of time. You are nothing but a good human being. You are not. Good human being is to see your brothers suffering in the ghettos and shantytown and rise and say we're going to fight this devil together. That is a good African when we can say we're going to fight that devil together. We're going to beat that devil together. That is a good human being. You cannot get better than that. You cannot get greater than that. When you say to yourself, let's get together and fight this poverty together. That's a good human being, and you cannot get better than that. You cannot get greater than that in the kingdom. For if you're sitting and watching, and you think you're going to enter into the gates of heaven, no, you are mistaken. That's the wrong gate. For your gate is a different gate. You cannot sit inside of your apartment, your house, and say that you're a good person because you've never been in trouble. Or you're not looking for trouble. God wants nothing to do with you. I can tell you that now. You don't have to wait, and when you dare to go to heaven and God said to you, what did you do in the kingdom right here? You will say to God, I was waiting to go to heaven to meet you. God said, no, I don't want to know you. That is what God going to say to you. I don't want to know you. Because many are called and few are chosen. And you can call his name Christ, Christ, Christ. And what did Christ say? I don't know you. What do you think I don't know you mean? That is what he's expressing to you. I don't know you. If you don't fight for the poor and the suffering and the Africans in the continent and the Africans wherever we will be, then Christ turn around and say, I don't know you. You are not worthy of me to know you. You are disgraced as an African. You are a disgrace if you sit and you watch and you are coward. That is what Christ will say. You can call my name, Christ, Christ, Christ. And Christ turn around and say, I don't know you. I don't want to know you. You can give and give your money to the churches. What do you think Christ is going to say to you? Did you see the suffering in the ghetto? Did you see little children suffering? Are you not seeing? Are you not opening your mind? But you're waiting to come and enter into the gates. No, that is the wrong gate. Your gate is down there. That is your gate.
Let there be light.